and keeping our focus on the news out of Japan. And all 6 reactors at the Fukushima power plant have now been affected by the ongoing crisis there. The last 2 are said to be losing their cooling capabilities. And it's this exact problem that's caused all the blasts at the site so far, following the devastating quake and tsunami. Also, a pool of spent nuke fuel at the station is said to have reached boiling point. It's stoking fears of a nuclear meltdown, which were already high since the reactor explosions began. Japan has reportedly now told the International Atomic Energy Agency that the facility is releasing radioactive materials into the air. Engineers have been using seawater to cool the reactors in an attempt to avert a nuclear meltdown. Now, RT's Ivor Bennett can join us live from about 100 kilometers from the station itself. And hi, Ivor, are we talking about a situation that's now become truly dire? We're not hearing any good news at this point.
It seems like the whole of Japan, the entire nation, is gripped by the situation. Everyone's very nervous that it could, we're on the cusp of a nuclear catastrophe, and it could tip into an absolute disaster here. And no one really knows which way to turn, because people fear that this radiation is seem like that way. The radiation levels following the 4th explosion earlier today, second explosion of the day, 4th explosion at the nuclear power plant. They topped 400 times the dosage one would expect to receive in a year, which is a very critical and harmful level indeed. So the situation is very tense here, and all this follows the events of today, which seem to have just gone from bad to worse. 2 explosions this morning at 2 previously intact reactors, and then 2 more. The final 2 reactors of the 6 at the Fukushima power plant, we're hearing this evening, have now gone into a critical condition. There haven't been any explosions there, but they have also had their cooling mechanisms knocked out, so they can't cool down the reactors, and that's what led to the first 2 explosions, first on Saturday and the one yesterday. And now the situation suddenly got a whole lot more critical. It went up a couple of notches with the second explosion today, because that 4th reactor actually houses 780 spent fuel rods, all of which containing radioactive material. Normally a nuclear reactor actually contains around 70 fuel rods, so there was a lot more potential, a lot greater potential for a much larger radiation leak, and this prompted fears of a major nuclear catastrophe and potential nuclear meltdown, also fueled by the Prime Minister's address to the nation, telling people to stay indoors. Even there's advice coming from the government now to even hang your laundry indoors, because they don't want anyone going outside at all. And this prompted foreign news crews, all the ones I've seen today, head for the exits. I'm now actually in Niigata, which is on the west coast, because we feel that this area is much safer to be in. And also there's been a lot of distrust about the information coming out from the Tokyo Electric Power Company, who owned the Fukushima power plant, and also the government. That's not only amongst foreign news crews, but also amongst residents here, foreign residents I've spoken to. They are also trying to get to the airport to get the first plane out of the country, because they don't feel that the country is actually telling the truth. They think that they're reading between the lines and saying that the situation is very bad, and they think that the Prime Minister actually doesn't want to fuel panic, but on the streets there is panic indeed.
Well, so Ivor, as many people are trying to flee the area, all the journalists then fly in. I hear you're settling down on the western coast there, but you've been in the area for several days now, and as we've been looking at these pictures of the widespread devastation, tell us, what have you seen in terms of the relief operation in the country? Is it widespread? Is it working?
Well, the relief operation is definitely widespread. Over 91 countries are offering their help here, sniff dogs, food aid, everything, but they face an absolutely massive task. I went to the coast near Sendai this morning, one of the worst hit areas, and it's absolute devastation. It's really hard to imagine what actually was there, because all you see, for as far as you can see almost, is rubble and pieces of trees, cars. There was a cab of a lorry that was half submerged in this sea of mud. There are buildings and cars sort of balanced on top of one another. It's hard to imagine actually how they got like that. It's as if all of this was put into a washing machine and then spat out again. And so the rescue operation and the relief workers face an absolutely massive task, sifting through all this debris, trying to find survivors. It's been 4 days now since the earthquake and tsunami hit. and they know that there's thousands of people still unaccounted for. And one entire town in the Miyagi prefecture called Minami-Sanriku, that's still missing 10,000 residents, and they're facing a race against time, really, because they fear that there is potentially another earthquake coming, magnitude 7. There's a 70% chance of that hitting in the next 2 to 5 days, and following that, there fears another tsunami. And last night, in fact, it was a really sleepless night, because in Sendai there were a number of aftershocks, and they peaked at around 4 a.m. local time, and that actually woke me up with the bed shaking. It was so strong. And so there are real fears there, and fears on the street now compounded by the fact of this potential very serious radiation leak. People are queuing up outside all the stores still selling food. There isn't much left. One queue of people was actually around 1 kilometre long. They're trying to stockpile what they can because they think they might have to stay indoors for a very long time. And also people are just trying to flee the countries, flee the country and get on whatever flight they can, either south to Tokyo or Osaka. But all the flights there from here, they're all filled for the next 2 days, and all flights out of here are actually full.
Well, Ivor, we're hearing reports here that 25,000 people have so far been rescued, but we're hearing that confirmed that 520,000 people are currently staying in 2,500 shelters. So certainly it is a widespread relief operation. RT's Ivor Bennett there live in Niigata, Japan. Thank you.